So history rolls on with the 103rd edition of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup as we get set for the first ever meeting between the Chicago Fire and NASL side, the Fort Lauderdale Strikers. It was the round of 16. The David Accam show continued. He scored all 3 goals for the Fire in this tournament, and he opened up the scoring with a beautiful one versus Columbus.
Just an unbelievable play here, Dan, and so much is you respect his pace so much, and when he gets the ball out in that channel, you're thinking that he's going to push the ball right by you, and that's what Columbus is thinking. But then he's got something on his sleeve. He just cuts inside, gets his head up, and just what a well-placed ball, just right past the hands of Clark, a diving Clark, and just a great finish by Accam there.
And it's exactly what the Fire needed, and now all of a sudden, leading 1-0, Rodrigo Ramos, the 21-year-old, gets involved.
And then again, I mean, Ramos cutting inside. You normally see him pushing the ball in the channel, but he cuts inside, so much time and space to get his head up. There you see it again. Once he cuts inside, just really no one steps to him, and he gets his head up, and what a great ball in the back post to find Accam just pushing through, and just the composure and the finish just to not only get his foot on that one, but just to score his second goal and push the Fire through.
And such an important goal for the Fire because Ethan Finley would add a late one. So this second one by Accam, good for his brace and third of the tournament, the eventual game-winning goal. And that's what the Fire needed. They had more rest. They needed to put their stamp on the game. Mike Santos starting things well for Fort Lauderdale against Orlando City.
Yeah, great pass there by Mike Santos. Obviously, he dropped deep to pick up that ball, and Angulo started on the left-hand side, made the diagonal run. Great finish and to open the score there, and you see Molino here picking up the ball and equalizing. Really poor defending, the ability for him just to get the ball, and almost like just the sea opened up and he just came right through. Great finish. You see Laren here with a great opportunity late in the game off the bar. And then you see this run by Victor Bagliari Giro, nicknamed PC, who makes basically a 60-yard run. Left-footed player cuts inside with his right foot. No one steps to him. Just his ability now and technical ability just to look at the back post and finish it off. And what a great goal that was.
And they're going to rely upon PC this evening. Maicon Santos, who we saw in those highlights, not in action for Fort Lauderdale this evening, out with the red card suspension. So hopefully the Chicago Fire can take advantage and jump out to that early lead like they did in the previous Open Cup match versus Columbus as they get set for their first ever meeting hosting Fort Lauderdale for a chance to move on to the semis. Beautiful rendition of the national anthem to kick things off. Lamar Hunt, U.S. Open Cup, 103rd edition. Next to Frank Klopas, I'm Dan Kelly. A balmy but beautiful night for a tournament game.
Beautiful night, Dan, and what an opportunity here for the Fire now to reach the semis. They've reached the semis 11 times. what a great night to make it 12. And it's been a difficult place for teams to come here and win. I think the Fire in over 28 games have only lost once in the state of Illinois. So not an easy place for any team to come here and get a result.
Yeah, near perfect record of 27-1-2 in Open Cup matches played in the land of Lincoln for the Chicago Fire. If they move on tonight, they would play the winner of Philadelphia and New England August 10th in semifinals. Let's take a look at Veljko Panovic's starting 11. And Frank, he rested a lot of key players in that road loss to Dallas. I would imagine we're going to see the big names back in the mix.
Yeah, they talked about squad rotation. I think you saw some of that in the last game, MLS game against Dallas. But obviously, it's really a strong team out there tonight. Lamson is in the goal. But obviously, Rodrigo Ramos and Vincent are the two outside backs. Campbell and Koppelhoff are the two center backs. That back four has played together for a long time. There's a lot of familiarity. Chiam and Pols are the two central midfielders, and then Akam, Cochise, Alvarez the attacking with force there with Michael DeLu on top.
Akam and Campbell did not travel to Dallas, so they are well rested. Taking a look at the Fort Lauderdale strikers and what Caio Zanardi has assembled.
Yeah, obviously Restrepo, who's been a key for them reaching this far, experienced goalkeeper, and then the back line also brings a lot of MLS experience and international experience with Nana Atakora out on the right side, Galeg Agbosumonte, Julius James and Corrales, the back four, and Felipe Fernandez and Alexander, the two central midfielders. PC is out left, the left back, Nunez, the attacking midfielder with Gabriel out on the right side, and Jose Angulo on top.
Look at the weather, a little warm, but not unexpected this time of the year. And Veljko Panovic saying he's going with all his big horses for this game. After all, Fort Lauderdale, they beat two MLS teams, so full respect and full power to them. But unfortunately for Fort Lauderdale, not full power this evening, missing an important cog in their offense.
Missing an important, yes, for sure. I think that Maicon Santos is a player that's familiar to the Fire fan base here. Really more of a target guy, really dangerous inside the box. Really, his hold-up play is really good, but it's someone I think that's a key guy for them, and is going to be missed tonight. But it's an experienced team, Dan. We talked about the back line with Atakora, Agbosumonte, Gale, James. I think these guys not only have MLS experience, but also international experience.
But Frank, you'd like to see the Fire, especially at home here against an NASL side, to push things right from the start.
Well, look, I think it's important to set the tone early, and it's a team coming in. I think you're playing at home. I think it's so important for the Fire to come out bring a lot of energy, press higher up the field, and don't let this Fort Lauderdale team get in any kind of rhythm early on. I think they're a team, talking to Timmy Reagan, who's the assistant coach at Indy 11, and Alessandro Nesta, the head coach in Miami FC. He told me that they're a team, if you give them time, they want to build up play, they want to control and dictate the tempo, and they gain their confidence, their possession. So I think the Fire have to disrupt that.
Here's Jonathan Campbell, Brandon Vincent, recently named to the MLS All-Star team. The cross there, nearest was DeLu. Cham recovers it though. Khalid Cham busting into the area. Will be a goal kick, as Cham has been getting better every match as he gets acclimated to MLS.
Good stuff by Cham there, just to push the ball through down the channel. But you can see just the physical strength of Gale Agbosumonte there. In the 1-1 challenges there, he's just so physically strong, and he's able to hold Cham off there. But that back line, when you talk about Atakora, he obviously Canadian international. He's got MLS experience because he signed in 2007 with Toronto, Dan. And Gale, has international experience, represented the U.S. in a U20 with the U20 team over 30 times, and has earned one cap with the senior team. And obviously Julie James, an international with Trinidad Tobago, and was drafted in 2008 by Toronto, and had stints with Houston Dynamo, DC United, and Columbus Crew. So it's an experienced back line that knows the MLS extremely well.
Number 6, PC, he secured the game winner in the 120th minute against Orlando City. So here's Gabriel with the attempt. And the first corner of this young match will go to the visitors from Fort Lauderdale.
And that's another experienced guy, Gabriel, 35 years old, but normally he has played on the right side, but they pushed him more in the midfield and brought that support to Nana Atakora, who's going to be able to defend and give him the freedom to push more forward in an attack-minded role on that right-hand side.
PC off the corner. Flicked across the goal, watched out by Ramos. PC is an interesting story. He's a dangerous player, a traditional Brazilian fullback, the wing position, but he gets that name PC. That was not his given name. He played with the Brazilian club Corinthians, and every year a great player is awarded that name PC, so he continues to have that simple name.
You got to be someone pretty special now to get a nickname in Brazil.
Here's a special one. David Accam busting in. David Accam taken down. And David Accam and the Chicago Fire off to the start they were looking for as Restrepo forced to take down David Accam.
And what a great play. I mean, you see it in the end of the play, but the minute the ball is picked up, there's space behind to attack the back line and the through ball, and it's so difficult. I don't think that anyone's going to be able to stay with his kind of pace and taking advantage of the high back line. And what a great start. Him breaking through and earning a PK now to open the score early on.
So taken down by Restrepo. David Accam has scored every goal in this Open Cup tournament for the Chicago Fire this year. He has all 3 of their goals. And he also allowed them to survive from the penalty spot against Indy 11 after full time. Back to the spot goes David Accam. Restrepo, he helped his team advance with his work here. So penalties do not faze Restrepo. He made 3 penalty saves versus Richmond alone. Here's Accam. Accam, upper 90, and the Chicago Fire open up the scoring here in the 5th minute.
And it's the start that we talked about for this team to have now, making it a little bit easier on themselves, because when you play teams like this, the longer the game goes on, the more confidence that they gain. But it was so important for them, and you could just see now Accam, so cool, stutter steps, it just picks that top corner. Impossible for Restrepo or any goalkeeper to make that save, but it's exactly the start that the Fire and the fans were looking for.
It was reminiscent of his strike against Indy 11 that secured the Chicago Fire advancing in penalties. It was just at the other end against John Bush. This one against Restrepo, and the sirens sounding early here inside Toyota Park.
Well, that's exactly what they needed, and this Fort Lauderdale team they need to push the game. If they step higher up the field and leave all that space and depth with the pace of Accam, I think more opportunities will come, but that's exactly the start that we talked about.
And who knows? Veljko Potovic is not thinking ahead to Dallas, but we already are. Maybe if the Fire could get a couple more and they could sit some of those key players and get them to the bench early. Rather, New England next up for the Fire this Saturday.
But I mean, that whole play, they won the ball in the midfield, and once they cut inside, I think the recognition, and that's what happens now over time. I think these players, the longer they're together, they start to know each other so much better, and then they cut inside. Alvarez one head up, and then obviously found the movement of Accam into space, and it's just so hard for anyone to stop him when he has a space and a ball like that. Just a great weighted pass.
A well-rested and healthy David Accam, a scary sight. Here's the first touch of the ball there for Michael DeLue, or maybe a second of the game. Finds his guy David Accam moving down that left side. Cochise and Alvarez looking to make runs into the penalty area.
And just a smart tactical foul by Alexander, though. He knew he was beat with pace. I think Accam had the ball stutter step. Once he got him close, he just pushed the ball by him and just turned it to another gear, a gear that I don't think we've seen. I mean, we've seen it a lot, but I don't think that the players from all the strikers have seen it. And it was just a smart tactical foul there just to grab him, and surprised he wasn't a yellow, because he was off to the races there, going to goal with no one behind him. And you see Foti Bazakos talking to him there, but
the experienced man, Bazakos, in charge of these proceedings. Launched in by Accam. Little spillage there that hung around, but it's secured by Restrepo.
I mean, it's important now, Dan. I think the Fire had a good start. scoring the early goal. It's important now they just push this game. They just continue to press higher up the field. Don't let the Strikers team get any confidence through possession now and let them back into the game.
They're without their leading goal scorer, Maicon Santos. They've been shut out the last 3 games as Fort Lauderdale. In 2 of those 3 games, they finished with 10 men. So it's been a rough start to their fall season.
Well, you could just see they pushed PC, you talked about it, higher up the field as a left midfielder, and brought Corrales left to support him as a left back. Normally PC is the left back for them when they play in their NASL season, and I think this way they protect him a little bit with a more defensive-minded guy and give him the freedom and the ability to go forward. So I think he's a really dangerous guy when he gets on the ball. He's got a lot of quality and the ability now to pick those runners in the box if you give him time.
Calmed down by PC. Quickly recovered by Ramos out of the back. There's Jonathan Campbell. Quickly on for Brandon Vincent. We mentioned recently named to MLS All-Star team, the 22-year-old selected by Dom Kinnear for that honor. He started in 11 MLS matches, 12 appearances for Brandon Vincent. Fire trying to become kings of the Cup, winning this tournament for the 5th time. And it's good to have a king early. Earns the penalty and finishes it off. Does David Accam with the easy dispatch to the upper 90.
That would be really something special, being the first MLS team to win it 5 times.
As Accam switching over to Kochish. In pursuit is Corrales. Alvarez scored that beautiful free kick in the loss to Dallas most recently. Looks to get it through to Accam, but Accam couldn't settle it down, or he would have had a nice chance to make it 2-0.
Well, it's just a great play by Alvarez. The little starter step cutting inside. You think he's going to take a shot from there because he's got a great left foot that once he cuts inside, but then gets his head up, has the ability to find with that through pass Accam, and just his first touch lets him down just a little bit, just a little in front of him, and even his pace is not able to catch up to that one. But another good opportunity here for the Fire.
The Fire could win tonight. They'd be the 8th team to reach 4 straight semis. Both teams similar congested schedules, so fatigue not an excuse, and Fort Lauderdale of course had to travel. Nunez over for Corrales, who reaches to save it. Haven't seen much possession from Fort Lauderdale. That's their specialty. It's recovered quickly by Alvarez. As Fernandez taking down Alvarez. The 20-year-old, he's got a lot of composure. Played with the U20s, the Americans.
Member of the U20 team under Tab Ramos as his coach, and he's more of a defensive-minded midfielder. He's just going to sit in that pocket. Good passer of the ball. They're going to look to play through him, but he's not a guy that's going to look to get forward into the box. Alexander is going to be the guy that's going to look to do more of that, but it's just he's going to look to break up plays, and then obviously really good technical player, good passer of the ball, and going to look to play through him in our build-up.
First surge forward for Kappelhoff. This is Alvarez switching over to David Accam. He has to wait for it. In the meantime, Brandon Vincent strolling forward. Running onto it is Kappelhoff. It's David Accam and the Chicago Fire have this early advantage. 1-0. Brandon Vincent, could he catch up to it?
Just went out. Good idea, though, by Vincent. I was almost going to say in the play before, on that switch of play, when Accam gets the ball, it's almost like you wish sometimes that Vincent can just push up the field and be more in a supporting position and let that space to come where he can go 1v1 against Atakora on the right-hand side. But, you know, after the ball was dropped back in the midfield, it was higher up the pitch, and I think it was a good run for him down the channels, especially when you have someone like Gabriel marking you. The 35-year-old, I think he was honest in that play where he came back and did his best to defend him. But
this is PC in Fort Lauderdale. Gabriel bounding in there, the first bit of work for Matt Lamson. If you're wondering why Matt Lamson gets the start, it was his work against Indy 11 that allowed the Fire to advance, and Veljko Paunovic decided that he wanted to keep Matt Lamson in this run during U.S. Open Cup play. So despite Sean Johnson shining in that victory over Sporting Kansas City, he wanted to go back to Lamson in that MLS game most recently against Dallas. So he's warmed up a little bit here for Open Cup play.
Well, you see Bustamante down on the field there, and I don't see what happened. I don't know if he pulled something. But on that save before, you just saw Gabriel coming inside and finding some space. He's able to receive the ball and turn. I mean, obviously the shot from distance was never going to beat Lamson. But that's, you know, 35 years old, Dan, but so much experience with him. I mean, if you see the teams where he started his career in Brazil playing for Sao Paulo, Fluminense, Cruzeiro, Grêmio, and then obviously also in Europe, in Malaga, and he had a stint also in Greece for Panathinaikos. That's where I remember him. But he's up there in age. That's why they pushed him in the midfield with so much experience and put Atakora behind him to defend a little bit and give him cover so he can push forward a little bit more.
Agbusamande back up to his feet. He's nicknamed the Boss. He's the only player that has played every minute for Fort Lauderdale during this fall season. And he's got the only goal during this fall season for the Florida side.
I mean, I keep saying it again. I mean, it's a great start so far, 15 minutes into the game. The start that the Fire were looking for. It's just important now for the players on the field to understand that they can't drop their intensity. They have to make sure that they pressure this team. They speed the game up. It's not just running like crazy all over the field, but technically just moving the ball quicker, where now they have to force this team to defend and get them out of the comfort level and obviously try to pressure high over the field, like I said, and win the ball in dangerous spots, and the chances you get, convert them into goals and just put this game away.
The Fire will play in the semis versus the winner of Philadelphia and New England. Javon Watson, a late opening half goal, has Jay Heaps' team out in front 1-0. It's Akam who has propelled the Fire to this early lead. It's the foul on Matt Polster. Agbusamande back on the pitch for Fort Lauderdale. Here's Corrales, 34 caps with the Cuban national team. It's Corrales to Fernandez. Rising up there was Campbell. Missed by Cochise, and it gives possession right back to Fort Lauderdale. Nunez, watched by Cochise. A step up there from Khalid Cham. Quick transition. DeLu gets his bearings, spots Akam down his left side. A lot of cover back for Fort Lauderdale. David Akam drags two defenders with him. Opens things up for Cham. On to Alvarez. Cochise, the quick play in tight space. As Ramos sends it in. As Cochise couldn't bring it down, and it's cleaned up by Florida.
That's just a good build-up play, though. Really good patience by the Fire. Good tight combinations into the box. Nothing's on to get that ball out wide. Get a good cross into the box, and just a little bit unlucky by Cochise there. But it's been good to have the strikers pinned in. They've been able to win those second balls. If it's not on, just keep simple possession. Just knock the ball in the back, force them to come out, and make them work defensively. And once the opening is there, just like that, little tight combinations, you can break them through.
The pressure from Cochise caused that turnover that was pounced on by Khalid Cham. Here's Alvarez. Ramos to his right as DeLue was sprouting up, but it falls kindly for Fort Lauderdale.
Good stuff by Ramos there. Even though he didn't get the ball, I think it was a good decoy play where the defender just dropped off Alvarez a little bit, and that left foot has got some magic on it. Just hit it outside of the foot and almost picked out DeLue inside the box.
Cochise is fouled by Gabriel. So a pretty good pace to this game so far in the 19th minute. The Chicago Fire would like a little more security here, playing at home with a bigger lead, especially after that quick start.
Well, the important thing is I think they've done a really good job. I think they're creating chances. They got that early goal. Just to make sure they keep the intensity, they're focused, they concentrate, they don't give anything away, because when you look at their roster, their strikers team, there's a lot of experience on the team. MLS experience, international experience.
Razvan Kocić's ball sails over the head of DeLue. Onto it is David Akam. Akam takes it to the end line. That cross was denied by Akbusamande.
It's just so good by Akam. They're so hard to stop. You can just see when he isolates Atakora 1v1 there. Gabriel comes inside to take that inside position away. Even though you know he's going to go outside, it's just so hard to stop. He's just so quick over 2-3 meters. And let me tell you, Nana Atakora, he's not a slow guy. He's a good athlete there.
He tempts and teases and then takes it away, David Akam.
Just in situations like that, you're hoping at times now that Cochise can make those late runs a little bit, because DeLue made that run to pull that back line to the near post, and there's those runs a little bit delayed where now Akam can cut that ball back. I think that Cochise can find a lot of space and time just to hit that ball first time into the net.
There's a look at Kaio Zanardi. He assumed the coaching duties in the offseason for Fort Lauderdale. Originally, he was hired halfway through last season as the general manager. He's led his team to their first ever win at Carolina, their first ever win at the Cosmos, and they've downed 2 MLS teams here in U.S. Open Cup play, but they trail the Chicago Fire here. Both teams battling to go to the semifinals.
I don't know what's going on. You have players on the outside changing shoes. I mean, that's why you have a warm-up on the field for 20-25 minutes before the game, so you can see the pitch, test your shoes out, make the adjustments you need, and be ready to play.
Some recent heavy metal concerts at Toyota Park last week. The field crew has done a great job to get things ready. As Akam, it was Razvan Kocić who got to that first.
And you can just see he was just waiting for Kocić. It's something that they probably worked on the training grounds. He made that run to from the near post outside to the 6, and Akam picked him out, and just a little back heel that went over the bar. And that's good stuff by Cham there. He doesn't have to win the ball, just force Gabriel to play back.
Here's PC. Going down there was Ramos. Have you seen his game mature this year for the 21-year-old Rodrigo Ramos?
Look, I think it's all about consistency with Ramos. I think there are games where you see him and, you know, his ability now to get forward. You know, he has that energy. You know, he wants to get forward, and it's a great asset to have when you have a back like that has the ability to cover that whole channel up and down. And you know, there are times where I think his decision making on the ball can be better and the quality of service, but definitely I've seen what I like by the player, because even when he makes mistakes, he's a guy that can put it behind him, and he's always looking for the next play. He wants the ball. He wants to get involved. He's going to do that hard work. And defensively, he's been better. His 1v1 defending has gotten better.
He's had a brave first MLS season. Not afraid to make mistakes, Ramos, as we saw there recently. Brandon Vincent searching for DeLu in the area, but now it's Fort Lauderdale. As Vincent going up and clashing there, and both players staying down after that collision.
Yeah, that's always dangerous. When you see players going up like that and grabbing their heads, you just hope that they're both players are fine there. Here you see it again.
The training staff for both clubs right onto the field.
You talked about Ramos, and I think at the end of the day, we both have to understand that how young he is also, Dan. And then you look at also Vincent, and you've seen how his game has matured now, and he's gotten better. And I just think that defensively he's gotten better. I think that he's learning the MLS a lot more. He's gotten in good spots. Also, he has the ability to get forward. He's got a great delivery with the left foot at times. You feel that he can be more accurate. I think he gets in good spots now. The quality of service can get better, but he's a quiet kid that comes every day to work extremely hard and always gives 100% in order to get better. It's a good attitude to have.
It's Nana Adekora who was still down for Fort Lauderdale. Well, the kids out here enjoying some U.S. Open Cup action. Nice work by former Chicago Fire defender Evan Whitfield, along with the Chicago School of Soccer, working with the Freedom School at Trinity Church. Showing the young ones the beautiful game here.
That's fantastic work by Evan to bring this group out here and get them to see a Fire game and fall in love with the game of soccer. And you never know, there could be some potential future Fire players there in that crowd.
And speaking of young Chicago Fire supporters, if you know one, sign him or up for a Chicago Fire Junior Supporters Club premium membership today for just $30 and receive a great Chicago Fire merchandise kit as part of your membership. For more information, visit chicago-fire.com/JSC today. Some Fort Lauderdale-like weather on the way to Chicago. It's a warm one, but things even getting warmer in the Chicagoland area the next couple of days.
Yes, but it is a beautiful night to play. This is nothing like when we were in Dallas the other night. And I know we were in the booth and we were nice and, I wouldn't say cool, but fared a little bit better than the players on the pitch.
Frank Klopas could even imagine playing on a night like tonight. Maybe not a full 90.
Well, the way I'm right now, maybe 15 minutes.
But a good 15 is Chom and David Akam breaking things up, looking for a little space. The Lion looking for space to roam and finds that outlet valve as it's chested down by Kochish.
It's a good pass out of the back. It's just too bad that Kochish didn't see Vincent, because I felt as Vincent was making the diagonal run from the left side coming inside, I thought that Kochish had seen him and he was going to flick that ball right through where Vincent could just probably be all by himself running on Restrepo.
Polster. Well done to spot Brandon Vincent. Time and room across the face of goal. Directed out by Corrales.
And that's a good build-up. Adekora still being out, and you saw good understanding by Akam, just coming inside in the channel. Gabriel gets tight on him. Vincent read it. He made that run down the channel. The ball was played to him, and it was a good opportunity, a good cross in the box.
Nana Adekora, who was involved in that collision with Brandon Vincent, is going to come off. Jason Mora will come on for Adekora. Off the corner, it's Gabrielle and Fort Lauderdale away from trouble.
Well, and I see Jason Mora pushing more now in the midfield role, and Gabriel's going to go back to his right back.
Angulo on the left foot. Second bit of work so far for Matt Lamson. Might have been going wide, but secured by the Ohio State product anyway.
And you can see Angulo, I mean, doesn't have a lot of mobility, but in the box, if he gets that ball, physically very strong and technically good in tight spaces, cuts inside. You're right. I mean, I think he had it all the way. But it'll be interesting now on the other side, because you see Gabriel coming back as a right back. And I love this matchup now with Akam on that side against Gabriel. And I think every time you have an opportunity and you can isolate Akam 1v1 on that side, you got to be looking.
They've been trying to find DeLue here a few times, just missing. Now it's Fort Lauderdale. Corrales will send it across. Away by Campbell.
And I don't know how Bazakos doesn't call that.
He was right
the referee.
there.
I mean, DeLue is in front of him. The ball bounces, and James just comes behind him, pushes him out of the way. And that's the thing. I think with DeLue playing against Bustamante and James, physically they're two imposing center backs. I mean, so I just think their ability now to find them either in space or to combine in feet to go around them to anything in the air, I think it's going to be a little bit more difficult for him. But that was 100% foul because James just tried to go through him. But DeLue had position on that ball.
DeLue agreed with you too, as he had a little conversation as play moved on with Batiste Bazakos. There's DeLue showing the hunger to win it back. The first booking of this game. Is that on Agbusamante?
Agbusamante, we talked about it. I mean, he talked to him on the first one that I felt should have called it because Akam was going right to goal, but I was waiting to see what would have happened on his second challenge, and obviously comes really late there, and good job by the referee there.
Frank, something noticed watching DeLue tonight in the last couple of games, he's always got the positive body language. Whether the services are good or not coming into him, he's always looking back with that big thumbs up, encouraging his teammates.
Yeah, he wants the ball, and he knows not everything's going to be perfect, and sometimes the timing, the angle, the way you come, and the service might be a little bit late, but as a player, whether it's in the back or in the midfield, when you have the ball, this guy wants it, and it's not always into space. He wants it in difficult situations, and I think this is something that they've learned about him, because even with defenders in his back, sometimes he wants to be involved in the build-up. He wants to get touches on the ball, and as he's moving, he's a simple player. We talked about it. He understands when there's pressure behind him and he needs to lay it off, and when he has a space to turn. So it's great to have someone that wants the ball as a striker and is constantly moving.
And constantly talking to his teammates as well.
And easy to play with. We talked about it, how simple. You get sometimes guys on the field and you give them the ball and you don't know what they're going to do. They're going to run, they're going to dribble, they're going to pass. He's easy to read and play with. It's just important that just to make sure that whether it's Akam now, Cochise, or Alvarez, that they make sure that they don't leave him isolated on top, that the minute that ball is played, there's movement from behind in order to give him options. There's Nunes on the ball. When you think about Nunes and just international experience, 45 caps with the Honduran national team, was a member of the World Cup for Honduras in 2010. Played in Mexico. He's got a lot of experience also in the MLS. Started his career in Dallas and then moved on to Cruz Azul in Mexico. A lot of technical ability,
He's a chance creator, right?
He's a chance creator. Sometimes he looks so good, but in the end of the game, you look up and you say, okay, how effective was he? Did he get shots on goal? Did he have assists? And you feel with the ability that he possesses that he should be able to put more numbers on the board.
There's the aerial ability of DeLue. Julius James and then Restrepo off his line prevents any further harm.
I mean, James is complaining about a foul, but there was no foul there. It's just the timing and DeLue's ability to be in front of James and just attack the ball in the right moment, flicks it and just turns, and he's looking actually to play that to himself, and he was very close to get through.
We haven't seen that side of DeLue yet. Ramos. That cross easily cleaned up. So we'll stay with Nunez in Fort Lauderdale. Just past the half-hour mark here in Bridgeview, Illinois. Toyota Park, both these teams fighting to move on to the semifinals of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. The Romanian Razvan Kocis spins it in beautifully, and David Akam was positioned.
That's just a great play by Kocis, because the minute the Fire won the ball and they played Kocis down the channel, Akam made it run. And I was looking to see if Kocis is going to pick his head up and see that run. And obviously, as he was approaching the ball, he had his head up, and what a great ball to Akam. Maybe it was just a little bit behind him, but just great understanding. Great break on Kocis once the ball was won down the channel. Just great movement off the ball. First, DeLue making the near post run, creating space for behind, and then just Akam filling that gap on the left-hand channel there.
It was Kocis who set up DeLue with his first MLS goal. Now here comes Akam. Already one goal tonight. Akam into the area. Akam waits. Akam. DeLue, the Lion King, and the Chicago Fire have the 2-0 advantage. The King and the Lion combine.
It's just so fun to watch this guy Akam just picking up the ball in open space and running. That's got to be a scary thing, seeing him running. You see it. Alexander losing the ball, and then Akam going 1v1 against Agbusamante there. It's amazing. It's just, I mean, I know it's just so special to see him go 1v1, and obviously he's unstoppable in situations like that. And you saw what he did to the back line and to Gale Agbusamante there, and that's the second goal that we talked about. And it's great to see that partnership with those two. Their ability now to combine and for both to get a goal. That's what you're looking for from those front players.
There's not a lot of special players in MLS that can just embarrass defenders. We've seen David Akam do it before, and he does it again this evening. Agbusamante victimized DeLue.
Well, the thing with that is that his ability and the pace that he's at, but the ability now to keep that tight control with the ball. And Agbusamante, as he got closer, he felt that he was going to push that ball to his left side. You know, and I think that Akam now, he's been so smart because he's changing up his game. You know, he's been pushing it outside, he's been cutting inside, and it was just a little stutter step and faking that it was going to go to his left, and cut inside, went back to the left side, and it was just, I mean, you saw what happened to the defender there, and it was just a great ability to finish that play in transition.
This is Akam again. Wouldn't it be nice if the Fire could jump out to that 3-0 advantage here before the break and perhaps start to send some players to the bench thinking about their next road game?
I think they've been really smart even after the first goal. I think they've been good in possession. Obviously, when it's not on, they've been able to bring the ball back. Simple possession that we talk about it. Trying to bring this striker team out a little bit more and create space behind in depth, but also make them chase and defend a little bit and get them out of the comfort zone and make them defend where they want to be on the ball.
Alvarez had a little opening, but closed down by Fort Lauderdale.
That was a good defensive play there, because the last time he had the ball, he cut inside to his left foot, and he did the same here, but the defender was waiting for him in that situation. Plus, he had help in the inside with Felipe Fernandez coming out to help with Alvarez cutting inside to his left foot.
Akam and DeLue, the goals for Chicago. We should expect some added time in this opening half with a previous injury of Nana Atakora when he clashed heads with Brandon Vincent. New England continues to lead Philadelphia in other U.S. Open Cup action. The winner of this match will face the winner of that one.
Good stuff by the Fire. There's just so much space for them to keep the ball and move it around, but I think it's their ability just to be patient, not force the ball. Even if it's simple possession out of the back, play 1 or 2 touch and just force this Strikers team to move side to side, even 5-10 yards. And then when the opening there, obviously just go with pace.
DeLu, Cochiche, the save made by Restrepo. That second ball hung around for a while but moved away by Fort Lauderdale. This is Nunez on the counter. Trying to drift it over the head of Jonathan Campbell, and they do so. It's intended for PC, but the intervention there from Ramos.
And that was a great opportunity. That was an opportunity to make it 3-0, and that was that ball that we talked about. Going down that channel and just the ability to cut that ball back, and I felt that Cochiche very patient, saw where the space was, and what a great opportunity for him to finish that one off. I didn't think he got quite enough behind that, enough power to really make it difficult for Restrepo.
Corrales floats it across. Fort Lauderdale stays behind the ball, but still a long way from goal, and it'll be a goal kick for Matt Lampson here in the 40th minute. And Frank, this is something we've been talking about not just this year. This Fire team with their struggles on the road. They've done well at home, unbeaten across all competitions in their last 7 games, but just for their confidence moving forward, they've been thirsting for a 4-0, a 5-0 thrashing of a team. Tonight would be a perfect night.
Well, I mean, I think that they've created opportunities. We talked about that, but it's about finishing the opportunities. And yes, you know, it'll be great if you can get a comfortable lead and not always be under pressure over 90 minutes. They've shown in games like that, they've learned where they're able to shut things down and, you know, and win those 1-0 games and keep clean sheets and have the mentality of the team to work extremely hard over 90 minutes. But it's good now because you're going to have more of the ball. You know, you have to make good decisions. I think they can't let up at all. We talked about coming early. I think they've done that. They've scored really 2 great goals. They've created opportunities. And I think, yes, I think playing positive and, you know, why not 3 and 4 goals and, you know, and maybe you can make some changes and rest some guys and keep them fresh for Saturday.
And relax for a second, because this has not been a relaxing season for Veljko Paunovic, but doing some good things here during the Open Cup. Trying to make it back to the semifinals.
Well, it's 5 games to win a championship, and they've had the good draw early on. We've been able to be at home and play, and an opportunity to be in the semis. And how special would that be then, to be the first, you know, MLS team professional team to win it 5 times.
And they almost were knocked out in mid-June by Indy 11. It was a come from behind performance, both in extra time and in penalties, as David Accam picked up this side on his back and helped him move through.
You know yourself, some of those early games, they're so difficult. The important thing is that you find a way to win, and you know that's what they did, and they built some momentum, and they're in a great position now here just to make sure that first half coming to an end, make sure that they close this first half in the right way. Don't give anything opportunity. They stay focused. They go into the locker room 2-0, and then they come out with the same mentality the second half and just stamp their ticket to the semis.
Nunez with the try there. Well, a reminder, the 6th annual Chicago Fire White Party will be held Thursday, August 4th at the MCA Warehouse. Attend the hottest event of the summer, featuring a premium open bar, food in various Chicagoland restaurants, music and dancing, all to benefit the Fire Foundation initiatives. For more information, visit 2016 CF White Party at eventbrite.com. Corner coming in. Cham was moving up. It's knocked away. PC, though, on the ball for Fort Lauderdale. Scoops it right back into the area. This will be a goal kick for Matt Lamson here late in the opening half. Kyle Zanardi. A dejected look with his team down by 2 here late in the opening half. But they've been a resilient team all tournament, Fort Lauderdale. They've persevered and dusted off 2 MLS sides to get this far.
Exactly. I mean, and you see that they have quality players with experience, and you hear all the problems and issues that they've had, you know, players not getting paid. But in a situation like that, an opportunity to be in the semis of the Open Cup, you know, all these players are ready to go, and you never know. There's players with MLS experience. There's some young players there. You never know. Sometimes it just takes one game for someone to catch a coach's eye, and then that's all it takes sometimes. So there's a lot to play for.
Nice little combination and interchange here by Fort Lauderdale. Campbell as the 2 number 16s there clashing, and Campbell jabs it away from Fernandez. As Arturo Alvarez is engaged here late in the opening half. New England continues to lead Philadelphia 1-0. That match is close to going final if the scoreline holds. Javon Watson, the lone goal in that game. Here in Bridgeview, Illinois, it's David Accam and Michael DeLue who have struck for Chicago. Coachy, she's had a wonderful first half.
That's an unbelievable. I don't know what Bazakos is calling it, the referee, but Bustamante got the ball. If you see DeLue stepped in, won the ball. And then he calls a foul on him, and I see Cochise. Didn't see what happened on the last play, but it seems to have hurt his ankle there.
Razvan's not a guy to stay down just to stay down either. It's been a scrappy ending to this opening half. 4 minutes will be added at a minimum. So Fort Lauderdale down to the Chicago Fire 2-0 without their leading goal scorer, Maicon Santos. We'll take another look at this injury to Razvan Kocic.
There he gets injured, and this is the play that I'm talking about. I think DeLue beats him to the ball. He's in front of him. He plays the ball. Bustamante kicks him. They both fall down, and then the foul is on DeLue. But I didn't see there Cochise if he got stepped on his ankle there, or if he tried to play the ball. Maybe they hit shin to shin with the player there. Good thing it's walking off, so.
Fire trying to advance and also getting into this game at full health.
Well, that's the key, but I think that Coach Hughes might be done, because I see LaBraca getting ready to come in and replace him there.
Hit from distance right to Lamson, as Nunez has had a few tries. Well, summer in full swing, and there's no better time to see a Chicago Fire home match. Head to Toyota Park Sunday, July 31st when the Fire host the New York Red Bulls. Get your tickets now for August home matches versus Orlando City SC and the Los Angeles Galaxy. To plan your match day experience, visit chicago-fire.com/tickets today. PC. Ramos prevents that cross from getting through. Here's the man you mentioned, LaBranca, coming on to replace Razvan Kocic. So each coach has utilized one substitution here in the opening half.
And both from injuries, it seems. And I'm sure it's something both coaches didn't want, because
you have a plan, and then that's foiled. Nana Adekora left earlier in this game for Fort Lauderdale with an apparent injury.
Especially with the Fire and the games coming up, and you're just starting to get everyone back healthy at full strength.
Oh, the Open Cup, more magic tonight. It's a late goal by Herbers for Philadelphia. It looks like New England and Philadelphia could be going to extra time.
Well, that's good for Chicago. I hope they play
till next Monday.
Exactly. I hope they keep playing until Saturday, if that's possible.
Few lollipops there by Akam. Going a little longer here than anticipated with that late knock that Razvan Kocic took. It's LaBranca looking for his first touch of the game. The man nicknamed the Boss, who's factored in here both good and bad for Fort Lauderdale, Agbusamande, out of the back. It's been a start the Chicago Fire envisioned here at home against an NASL side as they try to move on to the semifinals. It's a calm call there on Corrales. Dragged away by Fernandez. Arturo Alvarez, maybe the last chance of this half. It's Polster. Ramos and David Akam slowly up the field. Whistle of the mouth for Fatis Bazakos. 45 minutes, halfway home for the Chicago Fire. They hope their next destination is the semifinals, and that was the start they needed.
Exactly. We talked about it coming out, putting their chances away, and that's what they did. Created a lot of chances to get the third goal. Didn't give up much other than some shots from long distance. So it was a really very good half for the Fire.
DeLu picking up the goal set up by David Akam, but the opening strike coming from David Akam. He scored the first 4 goals in this tournament for his team. Finally gets some support there from DeLu. A ferocious start though for the man nicknamed King David.
But you can just see DeLu again, just his ability in the box. If you give him opportunities, you get crosses in the box, he's always there. And you can say, wow, another easy goal, but he always seems to be there. Makes it look easy.
And as you taught us, there's never easy goals.
There's never easy goals. I wish I could get some easy goals like that.
It is the end of regulation. New England and Philadelphia as the Fire, if they can advance, they'll await the winner of that contest. So it's Chicago on top of Fort Lauderdale. 2-0. We'll get back to you in a little bit. We'll look at highlights, we'll look at numbers, and we'll talk more about the first 45 minutes in the future of the Chicago Fire in the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup.
What's wrong with being? What's wrong with being?
I'm excited to play and I'm very happy to play.
Well, about an hour and 45 minutes later than anticipated, Michael DeLeo and the Chicago Fire now ready for opening kick against Sporting Kansas City. Chicago 5 games in the next 14 days.
And now fans, please welcome to the field Sporting Kansas City and your Chicago Fire.
But things have been much more pleasant and rosy at home for the Chicago Fire across all competitions, unbeaten in their last 6, trying to stretch it to 7. In the 19th minute, Frank Klopas speaking about Michael DeLeo, though, wearing number 8.
That's the ball that I was talking earlier.
Cochise across. The first roar from the Lion MLS beat Michael DeLeo.
And that's just a great goal from the Fire and a great build-up. Cochise making that run in the channel, getting that ball, and obviously you see now in the box Michael's movement, great ball and a great finish.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. It was difficult. I think we start good, but get a lot of long balls, and then it's difficult to those 2 twin towers in the back. Yeah, if you can score in your first home game, and that's always great.
You know, today we are all happy because Michael decided the game, or Michael, Sean, David, Razvan, Polster, everyone actually, Michael Harrington, everyone did a fantastic job. Today was Michael, and fantastic, congratulations, great debut.
Confidence is high because you score in your second game. I think I get my chances every game, so I think I can score always. But yeah, I'm not gonna say a number because that's put a lot of pressure on me. But yeah, I'm trying to score every game, and I think I will get chances. So if I make the chances, I will make goals.
John, a couple weeks ago we were chatting at training. You were still coming back from injury, and you talked about how frustrating it was because there was nothing you could do except for rest. How has it felt to not just get back on the field, but to have the impact you're having on the field right now?
I think this is the best case scenario for me once you're getting fit, back on the pitch. And well, the first I came off the bench and we lost, but we came back from a 4-1 to a 4-3. So, and the last week, 2 wins in a row. It gives an amazing feeling.
The one area maybe that had been lacking in this team was somebody that could connect the back line to the forward line and be the creator. That's what you love to do in your game, and you've been able to do.
Yeah, I think it's not only because I'm back in the team. I mean, we have a few players who can do that. For example, Arturo, he's kind of the similar player as I am, so we can expect this from him as well. The team was making progress, even the wins weren't there, but you saw we start playing better, and as what Pauno said last week, the time comes that everything just come together and we're taking wins, and I think this is the time that we are doing that right now. But in the meantime, we're having 2 wins last week, but we have another game on Saturday which we want to win.
Comes inside, it's cleared away by Marville Wynn. Now Patayalashi, the shot, that's in! Out of nowhere, the shot, Gusets! Chicago up 1-0.
The most important was during the hard time we had without winning games was we just stayed together, stayed positive, and at the end, you know, you see now we're getting wins. Everybody is positive now. I think the crowd sees that, you know, we start to get playing better and get the wins. So I think everybody in the club is having a good feeling right now.
talking to Pano this week, he touched on the idea that you can't change the past of the fact that this team hasn't won, this club hasn't won on the road in 2 years now. But you can change the future. You can be the team that ends that streak. How motivated are you going to Toronto on Saturday to get that first win and to say, we are changing?
The most important thing is we don't want to be like two different faces on a away game and a home game. Now we had 2 games in a row at home that we won. Even when it's an away game, it should be the same. We have the same players, we have the same strategy. It's just a different stadium, different crowd. That's it. So we just should play the same. And in my opinion, we are really close to get a first win in an away game.
Alvarez trying to sneak in. Hello! Just 3 minutes in, Arturo Alvarez in the Fire lead. Sean Johnson parries it aside. And he goes to cover. Big save on that last Cassandra Dino, who's now latching onto this Kennedy Ekwananike. Kennedy Ekwananike opens up the scoring.
Welcome back. Almost ready to start second half coverage. I thought Paul Tenorio might step into the broadcast booth, but Frank Klopas thankfully has remained here, a man who has won a Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup back in 1998. And Frank, you liked what you saw from the Fire there in the opening 45.
Yeah, it was a good 45 minutes. We talked about them coming out and making sure that they take the game in a serious way. They came out to the field and they brought a lot of energy. They pressed high. They created chances. They scored 2 really good goals, and they really didn't give up anything on the other side. I think a couple of shots from distance, but I think it was a really solid 45 minutes, and I think that has to continue in the second half now.
Yeah, Veljko Paunovic said prior to this game he's going with all his big horses, and his biggest horse was in full gallop in the early going, David Accam.
And then you see Alvarez picking the ball coming inside. The movement of Accam now, and he pushes it by Restrepo, comes and takes him down, and you can just see right away the recognition. The minute he comes inside, Alvarez just looking for that run, and it's just so hard to stop. There you see it again. So much pace and depth. There's no way you're going to be able to stop him 1v1. He goes around Restrepo, gets the early PK. And you're always worried, the guy that goes down taking the PK, but so composed, starter steps, and nothing that Restrepo or any goalkeeper can do about that. And great start to the game.
It was similar to his dispatch from the spot against Indy 11 and John Bush.
You just see it again, little stutter step. Looks at the keeper, goes down to his right side, and then Accam just picks the left side top corner of the goalkeeper diving in. Not much he can do on that.
As Accam, he was a threat all half. Some opportunities, some beautiful balls sent his way, most notably by Razvan Kocic that he couldn't finish, but that was not the last we heard from David Accam in the half. He would be involved as the setup man later.
And then you can just see again, this is the foul by Alexander there into space, and good tactical foul. Here's Alvarez coming inside. Great touch, and great pass, just a touch a little bit in front of Accam there. It was a great opportunity. And here's that long distance shot from Gabriel. He had some space, really never troubled Lamson there, and just space in the box. The Fire found opportunities, when getting crosses and got some balls dangerous into the box. And corner kick, this is the one where Cochise just heels it over the bar. That's that knock with Vincent, and obviously Atakora.
Atakora would leave minutes after Brandon Vincent remained in the match. We saw the good work from Razvan Kocic, though, but he would also be forced to leave. And you see the saves from Matt Lamson. The tries were from distance.
Yeah, just another one from Angulo, cutting inside on his left foot. Never really troubled. And this is the play where 1v1. I mean, that defender, it's just great for us being up here, Dan, to see it. But, it's something that we're used to. We see that week in and week out. It's just his ability. Look at that. Into space, 1v1. And the great thing about this is just the pace he has and his ability now. Almost the ball is on a shoestring. Never.
That's the thing, Frank. It's the pace, but the ball, he can just make it cooperate while he's going 90 miles per hour.
Well, that's the thing. I have players. You have his ability in tight space now at full speed to be able to control that ball and just change, because you think he's going to go outside, he steps inside, and the ball's so close because you can't dive in as a defender, because he's just always ready to push that ball by. And here's the one that late run. I think Cochise does a good job not to hesitate a little bit, and that ball cut back, and good opportunity. And there's that injury to Razvan. That's the one I thought DeLeo had the ball, but unfortunately Razvan got injured. Hopefully nothing serious, and LaBrocca came in to replace him late into the half. I think 46 minutes into the half.
Frank Klopas, let's tap into your brain, former coach of the Chicago Fire and Montreal Impact most recently. If you were delivering the message to your team out in front 2-0 against an NASL side, you're trying to advance to the semis, what would be your main message to your team?
Well, the thing is, unfortunately, the game is not over. I think the challenge has to be now to the group is that, okay, it's been a solid 45 minutes. Let's win the second half. I think that's the thing. You cannot relax. I think that the strikers, we talked about their players and the experience and the quality that they have. I think it's important now to challenge the team to win the second half. And 45 minutes you're in the semis. So that's the thing, because it's easy now to drop the intensity, the energy level, the focus, the concentration. This is where I think, like the veteran guys, the experienced guys, because you have some experienced players on the field that they've been in matches like this, and how important the next 45 minutes is. And obviously, let's win the second half, score the next goal.
Watching Arturo Alvarez, his playmaking ability and his finish in the last road game, perhaps the veteran Alvarez is due, but it's PC in Indy 11. The first stroll forward, again, easy claim for Matt Lamson.
It's a good turn by PC there. He saw Chiam getting really tight and got turned on PC with that. Had the open field, but then chose really a shot from distance that really never troubled. Lamson saw it all the way, well positioned, and easy save for him.
Agbusamande, he was the man victimized by David Akam in his eventual setup for Delu. Here surging forward is Brandon Vincent. Some runners in the area off of Agbusamande, so the first corner of the half will go to the Chicago Fire. David Akam trying to keep this energy ongoing in the second half. Low service. LaBrocca got a stab to it, but Restrepo was positioned to make the save.
Good opportunity there. Just LaBrocca just making that run and not really picked up by anyone. Redirected the ball, but it's a good save by Restrepo there.
On the counter, a chance momentarily for Fort Lauderdale to break, but nullified by Ramos. Veljko Paunovic trying to keep the play moving. He's a little upset with Fort Lauderdale initially carrying that ball away. and having some words for his own as you see Logan pause over his shoulder.
Here's that replay. You could just see LaBrocca coming in on that late run. No one picking him up, and just really good save by Restrepo there with a lot of players in front of him, and saw that one come in late, but a good reaction save.
Agbusamande. And Fort Lauderdale down here 2-0, early time still in the second half. Alvarez over the ball. Julius James has just received a yellow card as well for Fort Lauderdale. Alvarez over everybody's head into the palms of Restrepo.
A good opportunity from a set piece there. I just think Alvarez got a little bit under it and just got too much air behind that one.
So James and Agbusamande with
just floated that one to the back post, and it was easy for Restrepo to come and pick that one up.
Alvarez easily picked clean by Fort Lauderdale. DeLu and LaBrocca try to recover possession. They do so. Here's Matt Polster. Thought since Kappelhoff took an international slot, we might not see him here in Open Cup play, but Mr. Steady gets the start. This is Polster. Alvarez looking for Akam, just wide of the post as David Akam looking for the brace.
What a great ball by Alvarez there. The minute he gets the ball on the right-hand side and cuts inside with his left foot, gets his head up. There you see it again. It's almost both players being on the same page. Akam just pulls back a little bit. What a great ball by Alvarez, and you can just see what Akam is trying to do all the way. Just redirect that back to the back post and just barely misses. Restrepo had no chance on that one. That's in the net. That's 3-0. It's a great ball by Alvarez there, and you can just see that.
Here's Akam again with DeLu, over to DeLu, into the area. Michael DeLu trying to get that cross over to Akam. It will end up being a corner. That looked like it might be the attack that had the potential to make it 3-0.
Well, good opportunity on the break there. I just felt DeLu just hesitated a little bit because he got the ball. Great first touch to separate himself from the defender. It's almost like he was waiting to play back that ball to Akam that was overlapping on the right side, but then in that position there, you just got to be a little bit, take it upon yourself and just put that in the back of the net.
Akam, a short option to Brandon Vincent. LaBrocca rising up. Little spillage. Khalid Cham make it 3-0 for the Chicago Fire. And they're starting to smell the semifinals now.
We talked about that next goal being important in winning the second half because it's not much you can change. I think the Fire had a great first 45 minutes. It was just important that they continue to come out with the same kind of focus, energy, and intensity. And that's exactly what they did. Getting this third goal is huge. And I just think that might have done it for this game tonight.
Beautiful sights and sounds here from Toyota Park. Cham puts home the rebound by Restrepo.
And then it was about just who gets that next goal, because if the strikers were able to make it 2-1 and then they're back in the game, because that just gives them a lifeline and just energy now to fight all the way till the end. But it was important that the Fire come out the way they did, had some good chances, scored the third goal, and Now the light in the end of the tunnel for the strikers just seems to be getting smaller and smaller.
And Polster there causes the turnover.
You know, it's just important now for the Fire in 3-0. Here you see it again. Here's a set piece. Short corner. Good ball in by Vincent there. LaBrocca gets the ball and redirects it. Good save by Restrepo, but Cham comes in, follows that one and just makes it 3-0. Here you see it again. Good recognition. Very slow to come out to defend Vincent. Good initial save. I don't know if Restrepo could hold on to that one, but Cham comes in and just buries that one to make it 3-0.
And in the meantime, Veljko Paunovic has used his second substitution. Kennedy Agbuananike onto the pitch, replacing Michael DeLue. DeLue, in just his third start, picks up his second goal this evening, thanks to the setup from David Accam, as there's Accam rising up. Cover back for Fort Lauderdale.
Well, another great outing now for DeLue, and we talked about getting the third goal and how important it would be maybe to take certain players off and rest them and get them ready for Saturday.
So a lower leg contusion for Razvan Kocic is the word that sent him off out of this match earlier than anticipated. One potential substitution left for Veljko Paunovic. Fort Lauderdale trying to make the turn there was Angulo. Will be a corner opportunity for the visitors.
It's good stuff by the Fire as Gabriel comes inside. Very narrow. They're looking to combine in really tight spaces, and the Fire have numbers around there. The ability to block that shot. They give a corner away. Just good reaction there to go out and close the space. You see LaBrocca, Bonanique, Alvarez out wide there. Good to see a lot of energy by the Fire. Obviously does help. 3-0 up, playing with a lot of confidence. It's important now to continue to be good with the ball. Manage the game. You're up 3-0.
Agbuananike and Accam keeping that back line honest for Fort Lauderdale, because now you have a fresh Agbuananike off the bench.
And definitely a lot more pace now with him and Accam out wide. We can come inside. I think you'll see both players interchanging positions, but you're right, a lot more pace. If strikers look to push and push numbers up and they give space and depth, I think you have two guys now with so much pace that can get behind you.
Well done by LaBrocca and Polster to maintain possession in the midfield.
I think this is a good learning lesson also for the Fire, because they've been in many games that have been close. Now the ability.
Is Accam unable to get the shot through? A few shouts for a handball.
Them being up 3-0, Dan, and just managing the game, learning now how to play with the lead and being good in possession and not forcing it and not just making this an up and down game. You don't need to score 10 goals in this game. The goals will come. Be good with possession. Let this team chase. Let them come, bring them out, and obviously the opportunity and the space are there, and the spaces are going to be there because the game is going to open up. You'll have opportunities to score the next goal and the next goal.
Fort Lauderdale trying to open things up, takes a deflection. Recovering there was Matt Lamson. And let's be honest, Frank, not just this year, but in previous years, it's been a while since the Fire have had a 3-0 advantage. So this is a little bit of uncharted territory, learning on the fly how to protect this lead and maybe add to it.
Yes, I think it's just, you're right, just being smart. I think you have a lot of veteran players. I think it's a new group with a lot of new players, but have now been together 6-7 months. You can see that understanding between them developing, and this is a moment to learn also. You're up 3-0. It's a wide open game. Manage the game, be good in possession, let them run, make them chase the game. You'll get more opportunities for sure.
This is Ramos. Drifting by a few defenders, but recovered by Fort Lauderdale. The winner of this game will advance to the semifinals in the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup and play the winner of New England and Philadelphia. Right now, that is in extra time at 1 apiece. The draw will be tomorrow at 10 a.m. Central to figure who would host. But still a long way from that as we approach the hour mark here just south of Chicago. Chom pushing forward. Slabroka whistled on the foul. If you're just joining us, it was a calm and Delu with the goals in the opening half. Khalid Chom with the third one here and the only goal so far in the second. Coach Ish and Delu have been subbed off already for the Fire. The man with the nickname PC, number 6. Angulo couldn't latch onto that. Out of the dust, it's Matt Polster. It's Ramos missing Alvarez down that far side. Well, fans, summer's in full swing, and there's no better time to see a Chicago Fire home match. Just head to Toyota Park Sunday, July 31st, when the Fire host the New York Red Bulls. Get your tickets now for August home matches as well versus Orlando City and LA Galaxy. To plan your match day experience, visit chicago-fire.com/tickets today. Paulo now comes on, the second man off the bench for Fort Lauderdale. Just recently acquired from the Ottawa Fury. He's appeared in the last 3 as Paulo Jr. Still a steely stare from Veljko Paunovic, even with his team up 3-0. With Frankie Klopas, I'm Dan Kelly. It's so good to have you with us as this historic tournament marches on. It's the Fire moving from our right to left. Here's Igboananike. Darting down that far side is Alvarez. Trying to cut to the middle. Igboananike there. Picking up the scraps. Akam. Brandon Vincent. Well-flighted ball. Pushed aside by Restrepo.
Here you see it again. Alvarez just breaking down that channel. Lays off to Igboananike as the rebound comes. Akam sees Vincent running through. Just backheels it. As he's running onto the ball, and just a great strike. Top corner, Restrepo, good save there.
You think that thing would have snuck in that post?
It looked pretty good. It looked good from here.
Vincent.
And my vision's pretty good, Dan, I can tell you that.
You still got it. Akam fights for possession, but it's recovered by Fort Lauderdale. Gabriel, as he's skidding out, switching the conversation down the far side to Paulo Jr. He'll keep it on the deck. The flag comes up. Trying to sneak in there was Angulo.
It's a good call by the AR here on the right-hand side. Good build up there as Paulo Jr. cut inside, just hesitated a little bit, and Angulo was a step offside on that one.
So Paulo replaces Nunez as Nunez was trying to create some problems around goal in that opening 45 for Fort Lauderdale. LaBraca. Ramos unable to keep it in play. And Frank, when you watch highlights from the Stanford days, Brandon Vincent, the 4th overall draft choice, that's what we saw. those goals from areas that he almost struck there for the fourth one tonight, but Restrepo got a paw to. Maybe that's what we'll see more in the future of young Brandon Vincent, the 22-year-old.
Look, I think you saw in his college days, Sanford days, his ability to attack from that position out left. You know, he's got a good left foot, good technical player, has pace. The thing early on with me was just his 1v1 defending, and I think this is something that
little build up here, an interchange. Knocked away, but knocked out of trouble. Alvarez.
And that's something with him that's gotten better than that 1v1 defending. Picking his moments, when to go forward tactically. Learning and being smarter, and obviously getting in good spots. And when he does, you know, he's got that ability with the left foot to either get forward and get shots on goal, but also to get quality crosses in the box. And I think that this is something with him that has to get better, because he gets in good spots. And
Fort Lauderdale gets in a good spot. That shot peeled wide. Paulo Jr. with his first attempt.
That good opportunity. Paulo Jr. cuts inside on his right foot, hesitates a little bit, goes by the defender, and really has a lot of space, and sees that whole goal and just shoots it wide a little bit. But a good opportunity by the strikers here.
He was causing problems there for Ramos. And that's the thing. As soon as Brandon Vincent was drafted, the coverage of the MLS Super Draft, Taylor Twellman was there, who watched him at the Combine and said he was surprised Brandon Vincent lasted until the fourth pick, because he felt he was the most MLS ready at the Combine. I think the first thing you think of when MLS ready for Brandon Vincent is that gift of pace that he possesses.
Yeah, pace and technically very sound, but obviously the most important thing when you're a defender, the most important thing is defending. You know, defending. You got to be able to defend, especially in these wide areas. In the MLS, you're playing against a lot of players that possess a lot of pace, that technically very smart. And I think the most important thing that you wanted to see is that his ability to defend. We saw that at a college level. He was very good physically. He's got all the tools and characteristics, but technically also that he's got a great left foot. He can get forward. He can provide quality service, and he's got the pace. So, I mean, you felt that there was a guy that can step in from day one and help.
Alvarez along that far touchline.
And it's not easy to find left backs.
Iguananike harassing the left back there. His cross will not come through. Another corner for the Fire.
Not easy to find the left backs, because some of them are good defensively, some of them are good going forward, but I think this kid all around could be a good defender who can get forward, has that ability, he's got the pace, he's got the aerobic ability to cover the whole channel. I think he can be the whole package.
Section 8 has brought the energy. Alvarez nicely floated in. It's Restrepo trying to get a paw to that. And some of the supporters in Arturo Alvarez felt he did, but it will be a goal kick. Still looks like New England and Philadelphia now close to the 120th minute. They might be destined for penalties. Showing a little more life recently going forward, Fort Lauderdale. The cross a little behind Angulo.
I tell you, Paulo Jr. has come in and has caused some problems for the Fire down that left-hand channel.
He had that cross there that was just a little behind Angulo, and a try about 5 minutes ago. 67th minute, the Fire enjoying a 3-goal lead here at home, as Julius James has watched Iguananike very closely here in the second half. Fire have won this tournament 4 times, in 1998, 2000, 2003, and 2006. Coincidentally enough, their first ever MLS game is at the former home here of Fort Lauderdale Strikers, Lockhart Stadium. And Frank, you were involved in that first ever contest for the men in red, weren't you?
Yeah, I was, and it was a great start for us. In '98, we won that game 2-0, and I think we came home and played against Tampa Bay at Soldier Field, and it was amazing. I was telling you earlier that I went to that game so early, like 2.5, 3 hours before, and I was amazed by how many people were at the stadium already. I think we had something like 44,000 fans at that game.
That first game was March 21st, 1998 at Lockhart Stadium, a 2-1 decision for the Fire over the now defunct Miami Fusion. Here's a calm, checking to see who's coming with them. Visions there of Labraca. Falls kindly now to Agbuananike, but Agbusomande recovers for Fort Lauderdale. The Strikers will now move to Central Broward Stadium, site of the MLS Combine. Gabriel. Off a Polster right to Matt Lamson. You wonder what Veljko Paunovic will do if he goes back to Sean Johnson in league play this weekend at New England.
And that's such a big game when you look at just from an MLS standpoint, I think for both teams, because as difficult as this first half has been, if you look at the Fire with 4 wins and stuff, Dan, I mean, if you look at just from a point standpoint, 6-point difference from them, and I would say we're New England. So when you look at matches like that now, playing teams against the East, if the Fire can now take that momentum, we talked about how well they've been able to play at home, if they're able to start getting some points and win some games on the road and put some kind of streak together, they're right there. And I feel that I really do, that it's going to be a better second half of the season. They have everyone healthy at the moment. I know Cochise has that injury. Doesn't seem to be something serious. When you bring so many new players together, it does take some time now, and I think
Agbusomande, his second yellow card, and so for the third time in their last 4 matches, it looks like Fort Lauderdale is going to end a match at a disadvantage. They finished 2 of their last 3 games with 10 men.
Well, I mean, 3-0, he gets the red card. I mean, I just think after the play in the first half, when the Com ran at him, he's probably saying, this is not a game that I want to be in. I don't want this guy running at me again the second half. But anyway, just this game for them becomes so much more difficult right now.
So you're Veljko Paunovic. You have one available substitution. Do you think about bringing off David Accam? As Victor Pineda, the former homegrown kid for the Chicago Fire, replaces Gabriel here in the 72nd minute.
And you called it, Dan. You're right. I mean, it's a good move. Accam has played extremely well, 72 minutes in. You don't want to risk anything. I feel the game is over. Right now, you still have to finish it, and you have to play in really serious and a focused way, which I'm sure the remaining of the guys on the pitch will. But you want to make sure that you keep this guy Accam healthy and ready to go against New England. Because let's not forget, the last time they played, that was his first game that he came back. I think that he saw 30 minutes into that match. The Fire were missing a couple players, and I think it's going to be a different team going there this Saturday. But going back to what I was talking about, I just feel like the second half of the season, with the amount of players that in the roster, it does take some time for them to gel. I think that the second half, you'll see a different team. for that reason. As long as, I feel that they can stay healthy, I think the options that Paunovic will have will be very good. They're not so easy to make game in and game out.
But they're going to have to start to pick up points on the road.
And that's the key. We talked about it. Carrying that consistency and that confidence that they have at home on the road. Because if they're able to do that, if they can put 2 or 3 a streak together, I think they're right there. If you look at the East, it's so congested. They can pull, some victories on the road now and start getting points, not just dropping points. They can be right there.
As Paul Tenorio likes to remind us on Fire Weekly, this is a league of streaks, and the Fire have not had a positive run like that. So hopefully that's in their future, especially when they get back to league play. But things moving along smoothly here, and their plan to get to the semifinals. Playing with 10 men, Fort Lauderdale, 2 yellow cards to Agbusamande, and you get to sub off your biggest threat, David Accam.
You break Mikey Stevens in, kid from Chicago. He's going to give you everything he has. He's going to be good with the ball right now. And here's a ball by Polster. That's what I'm saying, just managing the game. Just let the ball move. 1 or 2 touch. If they're content to sit back, force them to come out and let them chase a little bit. You don't have to force these balls like 60, 70-yard diagonal balls when you have 3 or 4 players free in the back. Just let the ball move.
Still finding his way, Matt Polster, in his second year.
It's just reading the game, and you're 74 minutes in. You're up 3-0. The other team is playing with a man down. Let the ball move. Simple possession out of the back. Even if it's side to side, it really doesn't matter. Let them, once they come out, you're going to have opportunities of space to play through them, but have the patience to move the ball. And if you get space like this, then move up into the space.
Philadelphia, New England, they've gone to penalties. Because if the Fire can hold on here, that's their next destination, the winner of Philadelphia, New England. That's a home game for the Revolution, not in Foxborough, but at Harvard. So the Fire's next opponent will not have to travel. PC trying to jab it loose. Polster stays strong on the ball.
Not have to travel, but playing 120 minutes and on turf. It's not so easy to recover at times because they've had a tough schedule also.
Frank Klopas hoping they play penalties till about Friday.
Well, they don't have to do too much running in the penalties, but at some point the game, there's got to be a winner, and the 120 minutes, it's 120 minutes on turf. It's not easy,
Life has been grand here so far for the Fire. Igboananike, flag coming up as Iggy trying to sneak in. David Accam gives the captain's armband to Johan Kappelhoff here to hopefully finish off Fort Lauderdale. Alvarez, he's had a solid game. Pushing over to Polster. Into space there, visions of LaBrocca.
Well, he saw LaBrocca making a run into the space. Tried to play it one time. A little bit unlucky, overhit it there a little bit. Good idea by Polster there.
A reminder, the White Party's coming up, held Thursday, August 4th at the MCA Warehouse. You can attend the hottest event of the summer featuring a premium open bar, food from various Chicagoland restaurants, music and dancing, all to benefit Fire Foundation initiatives. For more information, visit 2016 CF White Party at eventbrite.com.
Are you going to that, Dan?
The rumor has it you might be donning the white leather pants. You know I'm going.
I don't own a pair of white leather pants, but
maybe have you come in with the lion in a cage and, just jazz up the whole evening, Frankie. Talking about Michael DeLue. Look at Chom showing composure. Advantage played. Fire streaming in as Chom
Great run there by Cham, just turning, beating James there one-on-one, going to goal. It's just really a difficult pass he was trying to make. It's almost was hoping that Ezek Bonanique made that inside-outside run. It was difficult really to find him. He had the space. I think maybe I would have liked to have seen just Cham take the initiative and take that shot on goal. But there's so many stories I can tell you. There's a funny one there with when we had Grazzini attending the white party, and some of his teammates really didn't tell him what the white party was, and they said, he asked a couple of the guys, I think it was Pavel Pardo, he said, Pavel, what do I wear and stuff like that? He goes, wear a nice pair of sweats, you know, and show up. And we were all there, everyone's wearing white, and who steps into the room wearing all black Adidas warm-up? Sebastian Grazzini. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen. You should have seen his face when he walked into the room and saw everyone wearing white.
I'm sure he rolled with it.
Just for a little bit, but then I didn't think he could move that fast, going home and changing.
So word as New England has advanced on penalties, beating Philadelphia. So New England awaiting the winner of this one. Looks like the Fire are going to be seeing a lot of New England in their future. 2 regular season matches upcoming, including this weekend on the road at Foxborough. And if things hold, a semifinal date in the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup.
Well, that rivalry, that was such a big rivalry in the early days of the MLS, I think. And when you get more meaningful games like the game Saturday, and obviously the U.S. Open Cup semifinal, I think that brings back some of those rivalries. Meaningful games, games that there's a lot on the line.
This is Matt Polster. Moving on to the 80th minute, Brandon Vincent. Surprised and humbled Brandon Vincent at the All-Star selection, but such an honor and some great company to hang around and learn from.
It is a great honor, and I tell you, he's really a quiet, smart kid. Doesn't really say much. Comes to training, at least the times that I've been out there, and works extremely hard.
Look at Alvarez. Restrepo off balance, able to paw it aside. The consistent, energetic beauty and sounds from Section 8 continues here as the Fire trying to close out Fort Lauderdale and end their surprising run in Open Cup play. Stevens in the middle, Bonanique 1v3, pushed down by Alexander. That was a straight red to Agbusamande that sent him off. Scooped over the top with intentions there, a Polster, but broken up by Fort Lauderdale. Nothing to hang their heads here, the Strikers. They weren't supposed to get this far, beating 2 MLS sides. DC in penalties and extra time Orlando City. Looking for their first goal of the evening. Things opening up a little bit. Looking for Paolo Jr. has been influential ever since he came off the bench. Sector Latino, and all the great supporters also helping push this Chicago Fire side here at home.
I'm sure the other big game that the Fire fans will be looking to see what that score will be between LA and Seattle, because Seattle being that other professional team, MLS team that has won the Open Cup 4 times also.
And it seems like Los Angeles Galaxy taking the Open Cup a little more seriously this year. That game should kick off in about 10 minutes. Talking about Los Angeles and Seattle. Just trying to close out the task here at home, the Fire, and keep everyone healthy for an important stretch of league games, and then hopefully the semifinal next month in Open Cup play. As here's Fort Lauderdale. All by his lonesome down the near side is Moore. Spins the cross in. First to it was Kappelhoff. Alvarez, the toe poke ahead for Iguananike. Using his arms there, held off by Julius James. Fire trying to make it to the semis for a tournament record 12th time. And this is the 4th of 5 games in a 2-week span for the Fire, so nice to have this lead late, the ability to send a calm to the bench in the 71st minute.
And really, I think the Fire have made it easy on themselves. Not that it was an easy game, but I think we talked about them coming out with the right mentality, getting the early goals, creating the chances. I think being good in possession, kind of dictating the tempo of the game. And really never had to push really hard out in the first 10-15 minutes in the second half when they got that third goal, and the red card obviously changed things. And
there's Ramos, the adventurous back. Clips it in, but Restrepo there first to it. It's been a while to think a relaxing, comfortable last half hour of play, and that's what the Fire have experienced here.
It's really nice. And when I mean change things, not change things, I think that it was difficult for the strikers already, but even made it more difficult now for them, being down a man and really making it easy for the Fire just to kind of end this game, and just making sure that they continue to stay disciplined all the way till the end now.
Veljko Potovic still staying engaged. He's not comfortable. Communications guru Scott Hammer has tweeted the last CF 97 and Revs Open Cup match was in 2006, a quarterfinal. Time to renew that rivalry once again. This is Alvarez. Knifes it through to Iguananike, but the flag is up for the second time on Iguananike here in the second half.
That was an easy call by the AR there. Iguananike was about 3 steps offside. The strikers did a good job just holding their line and stepping up together.
Mora navigates it into the midfield. Numbers back for the Fire, protecting this lead. As it was Corrales going forward there for the strikers in the 87th minute. Wouldn't anticipate a lot of added time here in the second half. Seen a few players slip on the surface there. It's Igboananike. PC, though, is closed down by LaBrocca, tracking back. Little back heel by Alvarez with intentions there of Chom, but it's James. Now, pressured a little bit, turns it over. Chipped ahead to Mikey Stevens. Stevens into the area, trying to make the turn, but nicely cleaned up by Fernandez for Fort Lauderdale. Not accustomed to seeing Mikey Stevens making moves in the penalty area, but there had the opportunity with Igboananike to his left.
There was so much space there. I mean, when the middle of the field was right open, he made that run. Good run by Mikey Stevens. Got that ball, and Felipe Fernandez was almost just anticipated him cutting the ball back, and he had those long legs that he was able to stick out and break that play up. Good defensive play by him.
Kappelhoff and Ramos keep the ball with some help from Khalid Cham. Stevens. Wasn't this easy in mid-June versus Indy 11? As Alvarez, an ambitious try, sails it wide. Big thank you for our live stream coverage to Enrique Mendoza, Olin Technology, and our Chicago Fire crew, headed up by Leo Flores. It's nice to call a convincing win. That was quick. On to the semifinals for the Chicago Fire.
I wasn't expecting Bazakos to keep any extra time there.
Finally, that guy can relax a little bit. Veljko Paunovic. A new tournament record. The Fire going to the semifinals for the 12th time. It was the Lion King teaming up. The Lion and King David in the opening half. Akam with a beautiful assist and a goal. And it was cruise control from there for the Fire. Cham adds one here in the second half, and the supporters can celebrate tonight. We look back at that highlights, and Veljko Paunovic said he's going to go with his big horses for this game, and the big horses were important early.
The PK here, but I think you got to look how the PK was created, and it was an incredible run by Akam and a through ball by Alvarez to get that PK. And it was his pace and recognition to play that, and in transition they hit the strikers early. They earned that PK, and just we talked about having a good start into the game, and that's what they did. And I felt the rest of the night was easy, because not that it was an easy opponent, but they made it easy on themselves. You know, they played with confidence, they played with discipline. They created chances, they put their chances away, and gave themselves a little bit of a breathing room and an ability to enjoy the game for once for everyone.
And this would be tough for Agbusamande's parents to watch, number 44, because what David Akam does to him.
I don't know. I can watch this all night long, really. It's just amazing to see this guy with pace and the technical ability that he has to go full pace, and you see this again now. And to keep that ball so close to his feet, and his ability to change directions left, right, and ball under control again. And look at your friend the line in the back post, just easy tapping again. But it just seems like he's always there, scores those kind of goals, and we can see this one all night. I don't think Bustamante wants to see this one too many more times, but
those are just some lion scraps.
That looks like me when I'm doing yoga with you, seriously.
Stretching and bending that back line.
It's amazing. Short corner again, really slow to react, and this is where LaBrocca gets the head on a little deflection, and Cham's there just to tuck it away. We talked about, here you see it again, and we talked about second half, coming out, getting the next goal, winning the second half, and that's what the Fire did. And little deflection, Cham is there, puts it away and puts the strikers away, and really an easy night for the Fire, and just because they came out and took care of business early on, and now they can go on the road, and hopefully, we talked about this momentum, they got to put this game behind them, semifinals, but back to the MLS now, and an opportunity to gain some ground against a team that they're going to be seeing a lot of.
Nice to see David Accam celebrating with the supporters. It's selfie time. That's what we do nowadays in 2016, especially when David Accam electrifies the crowd. So the Fire will go to the semifinals for the 5th time in the last 6 years. And Frankie, I know you experienced heartbreak. You had a great run as a head coach, losing eventually in the finals to Seattle. It would be nice to complete the deal for the first time since 2006 and raise that trophy.
No, it'll be amazing. I mean, you're so close to the cup, and we'll see the draw tomorrow, but I think the Fire put themselves in a great opportunity, and I think they're a different team now than in the beginning of the season. We talked about that. I think they're playing with a lot of confidence. They have players healthy, and one game away of having an opportunity to win a cup. So it was a great night, but they made it easy. We talked about it before. Let's have an enjoyable night, maybe a night that we can all relax too here, and that's what we had. So, great win, and congrats to the players because they made it easy tonight.
Frankie, great job as always. Enjoyable working with you. Can't wait to see what becomes of this team in the semifinals and back to league play, as we hopefully will see a surge in the second half. That's the final. The Chicago Fire eliminate the Fort Lauderdale Strikers and the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. On to the semifinals for the Fire, and next up this weekend, back to MLS play. They'll hit the road this Saturday night to face the New England Revolution. And oh yeah, that's their opponent upcoming in the semifinals as well. So get to know and hate the Revs once again. For Frank Klopas and our entire crew, I'm Dan Kelly. A victorious night from Toyota Park. The Chicago Fire move on in Open Cup play.